Elon Musk is going to be suing the Anti-Defamation League, the ADL. And we're going to talk about that today and why it's so important. It is such a critical lawsuit to stop the slandering of businesses, the open slandering of businesses, particularly those that fall out of line with the Democratic Party. Of course, I'm Andrew Esquire. This is a Legal Mindset where we teach you to be your own judge. And today we're going to get right into this issue and right into this future lawsuit. Because this, I think, is huge, and this is going to affect all sorts of companies, nonprofits, and really people that felt emboldened to take certain stances and to go through certain actions, which are hurting business and they are defamatory. So let's get into what happened here. So of course, you guys know Elon Musk. Elon Musk is no stranger to controversy. He's no stranger to the limelight and being out there, whether it's through Tesla, SpaceX, or any of his other ventures, or through taking a mad rip on the Joe Rogan show. And listen, I don't always agree with everything Elon does, but in this case, I do agree with his decision to sue the ADL. Now, why is he suing the ADL? Well, he's suing the ADL because, well, ironically, they committed defamation. So this post was from the other day, and we can see that he says right here, to clear our platform's name on the matter of anti-Semitism, it looks like we have no choice but to file a defamation lawsuit against the Anti-Defamation League. Oh, the irony. Now, the reason why they have to file this lawsuit is because the ADL was going around behind, Twitter's back, or at this point, it's X, but, at Twitter's back at that point when they were first getting started the last couple months, they were telling their advertisers, hey, these guys are anti-Semites. And unless you want to be associated with anti-Semitism and the rise of hate speech, you need to get off of Twitter. You need to get off of X. That's what they were doing. They went around and told all the advertisers this and said, hey, unless you get off of Twitter, we're going to call you a Nazi. We're going to call them anti-Semitic. And certainly you wouldn't want to be called a Nazi. This is one of the oldest tricks in the book, the oldest shame tactics. In fact, the ADL has used similar tactics against even countries like Iceland. Yes, that's right, Iceland. When Iceland thought about going into regulating circumcision or changing the laws regarding circumcision, they actually threatened an entire country and said, you wouldn't want us to call you Nazis. Even though you're not, you wouldn't want us to call you that because, American tourists wouldn't like that. And I'm sure they wouldn't come there if we call you Nazis. And this has become the strategy for a lot of these groups like the Anti-Defamation League and the Southern Poverty Law Center, which used to be these sort of apolitical entities, as entities that stood up for things like free speech and protection of rights. Now these entities are essentially cadres of the Democratic Party. They've been captured by the political left, in fact, the most extreme part of the political left, and are being used for their agendas. For example, the ADL is the organization that tried to ban the OK sign, a sign that's used around the world, a sign that's a very common emoji. I mean, it's literally everywhere. They tried to ban it because they said it was associated with white power, right? I would love to tell that to all those folks in Africa sending each other OK hand symbol emojis. But that being said, they have been behind many of these campaigns and attempts to label people as anti-Semitic, hateful, alt-right. And because of that, this is damaging business. This is damaging business not just for X, but for many other companies when the ADL comes out and says, hey, don't go there. Don't move there. This is similar to the campaign to paint Florida as a horrible, misogynist, anti-LGBT, horrible place where you should never go and visit. It's very much similar. And look, you're hurting these places because there are certain people, right? There's still certain people, even in this day and age, that will believe that and not go there. And in the advertising world, no advertiser, they want to be safe. They don't want to be enemies of the ADL. So because of that, some of them did back out. There were actual damages. And because there are damages, there's actual money lost. The ADL went and interfered with these contracts. They interjected themselves and interfered with these contracts. They have the basis to sue. And in fact, the fun fact is, this will not be the first time that the ADL has been sued for defamation. In fact, it won't be the first time they've lost a case for defamation. In fact, as you see here, a judge fined in May of 2000. They fined the ADL 10.5 million in a Colorado defamation suit. So they've lost. They've been taken to court. They've lost before, and this could be a potentially massive loss. This is about trying to hit them for half of Twitter's ad revenue for those folks that backed out, because they were behind the whole story that Twitter has become a hate-filled place, because Elon believes in free speech, believes in our Constitution, in that sense of allowing speech, more permissive speech. Now, is it a perfect free speech platform? No. Is it something that is up to the letter of the Constitution? No. But is it better than the last version? Yes, of course. And that's what the ADL is afraid of, because the Democratic Party and most of social media and many groups have adopted the tract of censorship. They have taken up the mantle of censorship. Even many countries have taken up the mantle of censorship, of being very strict with what they define as hate or not hate. I'm looking at you, Canada. And these people, these folks, actually actively believe in censorship, but to be frank, censorship is anti-American and is anti-constitutional. And because of that, we have to take a strong stand against that. And in America, we have the tools to do that through a defamation lawsuit. I think it is very possible that Elon can win. I do not think that this is quixotic or in any way a lost cause. I think this is something that very much Elon can win, because he can prove, hey, look, these advertisers dropped. You know, you bring them in, you depose them, you say, did you speak to the ADL? Yes. When did you time your decision to drop out as an advertiser? Oh, it's after we spoke to the ADL. Okay, very much cause and effect there. So you can do that, and the malice is very clear. They do not like Elon, they do not like X, and they do not like free speech. They've been very clear about that. So I think there's a very strong possibility they can land this defamation case, this interference with this contractual interference. They might actually have some tortious interference with contract issues as well there. There's some possible other claims as well. But we will definitely stay on top of this. This is one I will stay rabidly on top of, because we need to have these groups, not just the ADL, but places like the Southern Poverty Law Center. They can't just put you on a hate list. They can't just put you on their, arbitrary list of naughty people and then tell everybody to stop associating with you. And the problem is that people will do that. In fact, even law enforcement agencies like the FBI will use these lists, use the ADL list and the Southern Poverty Law Center. They will use their hate lists as justification to go and arrest people, to go and pursue people, to chase people down. And because these government entities are using these nonprofit lists as justification for their actions, they really do need to be examined and looked at and scrutinized as if it was the government putting you on a terrorist watch list. This is exactly the same thing in terms of the actual practical effect. They are not arms of the government, but they're acting as if they're arms of the government. And the problem is they're specifically politically aligned arms of the government, right? Without being arms of the government. This is the problem here. This is what needs to be broken up, and this is what needs to be hit with a defamation lawsuit. This is the appropriate thing to correct this, and hopefully this gets fixed by Elon. Guys, let me know what you think. What do you think about this lawsuit? Do you think Elon will win? Do you think it will lose? Do you think it's a good thing, bad thing? Want to know in the comments below. Also, if you like this video, I would really appreciate if you just smash that like button on the video. Till next time, peace.